Mr. Marty Show.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Whoa, the Mr. Marty Show. The Mr. Marty Show. So glad you're here. So glad you're here, my friend. Pull up on you. You with so much great cheer, so much you're gonna let out a great big cheer. Yahoo! Oh, the Mr. Marty Show. Show. The Mr. Marty Show. Whoa, the Mr. Marty Show. The Mr. Marty Show. Whoa, the Mr. Marty Show. The Mr. Marty Show. The Mr. Marty Show. 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 The Mr. Marty Show. Always something happening on the Mr. Marty Show.
Dad, I was 5 when you carried me down the stairs, 5 a.m. We were heading out to Wyoming. You and Mom finally packed the van. Never ever said the words I love you, yet you were always very clear. Actions always are louder than words. When I said, Dad, I love you, you said, same here. Dad, I remember when I was worried about making a living with my guitar. You said anyone can make money, but nowhere to put your heart. You never ever said the words I love you, yet you were always very clear. Actions always are louder than words. When I said, Dad, I love you, you said, same here. Dad, I recall you were always working to support a wife and kids, sitting late at night, getting the checkbook right, trying to keep it from running off the skids. You never ever said the words I love you, yet you were always very clear. Actions always are louder than words. When I said, Dad, I love you, you said, same here. Dad, when you were dying, I thanked you for everything you shared. I said, I want you to know, Dad, how I love you so. You smiled and whispered, same here. You never ever said the words I love you, yet you were always very clear. Actions always are louder than words. When I said, Dad, I love you, you said, same here. You never ever said the words I love you, yet you were always very clear. Actions always are louder than words. When I said, Dad, I love you, said, same here.
Our mission at Mr. Marty is to create a show of variety that feeds the soul, with people from around the world contributing. We can become as big as your gift will allow us to be. Won't you consider joining the team? Go to martinmccormack.com and pledge a monthly contribution. Let's keep this growing.
Other father, yeah. Should I mention that I call my family in this?
No, it might piss them off too. Although they're the ones that told you he was rotten, so.
Yeah, well, I won't do that.
Keep with my daddy. Yes, yes. You might mention the quote too.
Okay, what was it again?
Everyone can be, anyone can be
any man can be
a father, but it takes a special one to be a dad.
Oh, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, anybody can father a child. But...
Anyone can be a father, but it takes a special name.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Marty fans. Ma Gilmore here.
Hi, MJ.
Yes, and we are talking about fathers. Yes, Father's Day. That is, that's important, just as important as Mother's Day. Sometimes more important. Why don't you tell us about your special father?
My special daddy. I'm adopted, so he is wonderful. Robert Quillette is his name. He passed away in 2009. But he was always there for me, you know, the daddy's little girl. I was daddy's little girl. I was daddy's only girl, but hey, you know, so wonderful. He lived to 90 years of age. We, at Beacon Hill, I had a special party for him. And at 90 years old, he decided to grow a beard. He's never had a beard. I know if my mother knew about it, she would roll over their grave. But he looked so dapper. The relatives loved it. And this is a picture of him with his beard. But I miss him to this day. They say that, you know, pain goes away, but it really hasn't. He was wonderful. We did things together. He told me stories. He actually, when my son Zachary was born, Brian was about a year or so old, and he wouldn't stop crying. So there's Larry. What do I do with a crying baby? And I want to be with my wife while she has
the other one, yeah.
The second child. Well, Brian wouldn't be quiet. Larry had to take him down the hallway in the waiting room, and my dad came in. So my dad was there for the birth of Zachary. And this guy served in the Korean War, and he was green. He was green. He had just lost his brother. His brother had died that day when Zachary was born. But the nurses put Zachary's footprint on my dad's hand. So he goes to the wake, and he was like, you know, am I sorry for my brother dying or the birth of my son? And Zachary and my dad had the closest relationship that you could imagine. We were always special to each other. But that's my dad.
Into this life brings another life.
Exactly.
We're out with one and with the other. And that's kind of a double blessing. Double blessing. Well, as many of you know, my dad wasn't the best dad. There were things that he did right. There were other things that if he had had a different choice, he would, or if he had thought of a different choice, he would have made differences. He would have changed how he was acting. But despite that, as I said with mothers, no matter what your dad is like, no matter how cruel, the fact is they gave you life. And that is something that I am thankful for. And I am actually more thankful for my great-grandpa and Grandpa Harris. He was this special man. He was about 6 feet tall, had huge hands. I can remember those hands. And when you went through the front door of his house, he'd kind of walk you on the rear end with that huge hand, or he would sit next to you in the swing on the porch, and he would tell you the most wonderful stories. He had been an interpreter for the Cherokees. His stepmother was a Cherokee, full-blood Cherokee. His dad had married her after his mother passed away. My great-great-grandfather had been brought into the Cherokee rolls as a husband of a full-blood Cherokee, but my great-grandfather hadn't. But my step-great-great-grandmother had taught him Cherokee, and so he interpreted between Cherokees and the sheriff and whoever else. They had lived on a reservation. He was an engineer. He did, just like my dad, he had been a part of the oil industry, even though it hadn't quite started yet when he was had gotten his engineering degree. They lived in a beautiful house in Bartlesville. I can still remember that house. And it was so spacious, and there was this one room for his wife, Ella, and it had French doors, kind of like Mary Jo has French doors. And he would let us go in there. My great-grandmother had been dead for quite a while, and we'd go in and we'd find her hat pins that were about a foot long that had gone in her hat, and combs because she had long, long hair. But that great-grandfather, when we sat in candlelight telling about his youth, telling about what it was like to live on a reservation, and he was the most human being I've ever known, the most kind-hearted, and I miss him to this day. So for all you fathers out there, and Marshall, we wish you Happy Father's Day. And always, Mary Jo and I wish you peace.
And now, 30 seconds of cue.
There are a few things we really ought to know about George Washington. And no, I'm not talking about cherry trees or wooden teeth. The first thing is that Washington was mostly self-educated. When George's father died in 1743, there was little money left to support the formal education of 11-year-old George. His formal schooling ended by the time he was 15, but his pursuit of knowledge continued throughout his life. He read to become a better soldier, farmer, and president. He corresponded with authors and friends in America and Europe, and he exchanged ideas that fed the ongoing agricultural, social, and political revolutions of his day. He was fearless in battle, with men and officers being shot down all around him. George Washington rode forward to take charge of collapsing lines at a battle in 1755. While riding along the ranks looking to steady the men, Washington had 2 horses shot out from under him and 4 bullet holes shot through his coat. While Washington is best known for the positions he held, both as a general and president, it is his willingness to surrender power that may be his most important legacy. On December the 23rd, 1783, Washington strode into the Maryland State House in Annapolis and surrendered his military commission to Congress, thereby affirming the principle of civilian control of the military. When King George III heard that Washington would surrender his commission, he reportedly said that if he did this, he would be the greatest man in the world. As president in a time when there were no term limits, and many would have supported a lifetime role, Washington stepped down after the end of his second term, setting an important precedent that lasted until the middle of the 20th century. Washington owned more than 50,000 acres in the west portions of Virginia and what is now West Virginia, as well as in Maryland, Pennsylvania, New York, Kentucky, and the Ohio country. He had a keen appreciation for how an expansion into Western territory would not only enrich the new nation, but also help to better knit the country together. Washington loved parties and was an excellent dancer. Many see Washington as a stoic and unapproachable figure, but in reality he was a man who loved entertainment and the company of others. There are many accounts of his dancing late into the night at various balls, cotillions and parties. He loved theatre and attended plays of all sorts throughout his life. And during a time where stiff 18th century formality pervaded relations between the sexes, Washington was known as an interested and engaged communicator with women. Washington is the only slave-owning president who freed his slaves. He inherited his first slaves when he was 11 years old. But Washington's attitude towards slavery gradually changed as he grew older, and especially as he fought for liberty in the American Revolution. In his will, he arranged to free those slaves belonging to him, and his estate paid for their care for decades after his death.
Alexa, play Relevant Elephant by Martin McCormack.
Here's Relevant Elephant by Martin Lawrence McCormack on Amazon Music.
Everybody wants their car to go.
Hey there, welcome to In the Studio, and what we have is a blank canvas, as we always have when we have to start a project. I am going to make a series of paintings of Ireland from photos that I've done, and one of the more intriguing areas in Ireland is in the Burren of County Clare, where there's some dolmens, some old Irish tomb structures. And what happens is, with the erosion of time from these earthen tombs, what's left are what's called the capstones. And they make for a very intriguing visual. So I'm going to start with this and turn this into one of those dolmens out in the Burren of County Clare, Ireland. So you can see here, I've taken my idea of the dolmen and I've just etched it out a little bit. I haven't put all the rocks in, but what I'm going to do is, since my picture is so dark, but it gives you a good idea right there. It actually looks better actually coming to the camera than to the naked eye. But I'm going to add, where there's more clouds, I'm going to puff those clouds up above the dolmen. I'm going to have it punching a little bit through the corner here. And that's going to create a little more of a lonely scene, I'm hoping. And then deepen the grass here and intersperse it with the rock of the Burren and just give it that desolate feeling that one sees when one's out there. Okay, I have my art roughed out, pretty hard for you to see here. I'm going to use, I'm just going to start with this brush and work my way down, and just kind of get a general feel for the whole thing. We'll see how this goes. I don't know how detailed I want it. Might just make it a little more impressionistic. We'll find out. Okay, so I've got kind of where I want to be with my sky for now. We're going to make this very dramatic. The hardest part of this whole landscape is going to be the land itself, because every little area has a lot of stone. So let's start in, and we're going to create this mood with the land. And the last bit will be actually getting the dolmen itself. This will enable me to really kind of start working on individual pieces of rock and kind of come up with my own way of texturing it. So let's get to it. All right, I just want to show what I got here. If you can see, I've got some black, I got some white, mainly here and here. And so I'm going to still use a little bit of my sky blue to even put in to get the rocks going. So it's going to be a slow process, and I will start in right now. What I will do is pull this chair over so I don't have to be standing as much. Let's get to it. So I have to look at each individual rock that I have, and then just take a little dab in this. that. Get that there. And this is my first rock that I want.
Thanks for watching the show, Mr. Marty show. Hope you like the show, the Mr. Marty show. Oh, thank you for watching the show. It was all about Father's Day and how we love our fathers because they are always there for us and they're really good and nice and they're awesome. Anyway, thank you for watching the show. Thank you for watching the show. I have my dad right here.
I love you too. Thanks for watching the show, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.